What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about the 7900 XTX. Now, I put out a video last night talking about how I like the 7900 XTX more than the 4080 Super and the 7900 XT that I got, but I want to kind of dial in a little bit more on that this morning after staying playing around with it a little bit more. Now, as you guys know, recently I bought an ultra-wide monitor. I bought the LG 39-inch ultra-wide OLED monitor, and having that paired with the 7900 XTX has definitely pushed. See, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. One of the big things is with the Nvidia GPUs, in order to use like stuff like DLSR or DSR or just DSR, dynamic super resolution, being able to render at higher resolution and then drop it down. You have to jump through a bunch of stupid hoops with the Nvidia thing, and I noticed that immediately when I put the 4080 Super in there. Like that to me is kind of like that is a deal breaker. And I know that people are like, yeah, you can do this and you can do that. I shouldn't have to watch a bunch of videos, learn how to tinker and do all of this stuff just to take advantage of my monitor and the 4080 Super. Like you shouldn't have to do that. That's incredibly unfreaking like that is not consumer friendly. If you go out and you buy a GPU and it's got power, if you're playing older games or even something just like, you know, like Assassin's Creed from last generation consoles, or any of these other games, like, you really should be able to just be like, all right, boom. I read something that like, oh man, if you just have the monitor plugged in or blah blah blah, or you're using two cables for it or something. I mean, these hoops that you have to jump through with the Nvidia GPU are dumb. And I'm gonna say it, like, I get it, man. People like this stuff, but dude, that kind of stuff is just dumb to me. Like, how is it that Nvidia, the number one GPU, or the number one, you know, I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. They say they're the best, but they can't even nail basic features that somebody like me or anybody else going out and buying a new high-end monitor for gaming. Well, like, how is that? How does this even make sense, my friends? And how do people continue to defend this type of behavior? And trust me, guys, this is not the only reason that the 7900 XTX is better than a 4080 Super. This is just one of those things that's like, oh my gosh, dude, how the heck does Nvidia keep missing this? Or do they? I kind of feel like they do it on purpose. My experience with Nvidia since the beginning is literally always having something good enough to like it's always just good enough, but never above and beyond. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel with Nvidia. It's good enough, but it's never above and beyond. Now, when it comes to AMD, basic features like being able to just use your GPU and be able to use your monitor and to be able to push the thing like, AMD has you covered. Like, yeah, that's why I say, to me, AMD is the GPU that is designed and built for gamers with gamers in mind. Nvidia, on the other hand, like, there's a lot of things that they're good for. Really, there is. Like, if you're out there building or creating games or doing any of that kind of stuff or using it for workflow, any of those type of things, they probably are good. But I don't use it for that, so I don't really know. So I'm not going to comment on that and say, yeah, that's the better choice for you. I have no idea. I mean, apparently there's a new program that you can use on an AMD card and run any CUDA thing just by downloading this, and yeah, I don't know, man. But when it comes to like the AMD 7900 XTX or even the 7900 XT for that fact, I can utilize my monitor. I don't have any roadblocks. There's nothing preventing me from utilizing virtual super resolution. There's nothing preventing me from doing my frame rates over 200, you know, up to the 240 frames a second. The only thing that I would really say or caution people against about getting a 7900 XTX is it is power hungry. I mean, I'm pushing like 430 to 450, 60 watts sometimes while playing these games, and yeah, dude, that definitely is extreme over the 4080 Super. Like the 4080 Super is like 300, but you know, at the same time, it feels, in my opinion, guys, the 4080 Super feels shallow compared to what I get with the 7900 XTX. Like the 7900 XTX, like you can really see, at least in my opinion, and obviously other people are, you know, going to be different, but in my opinion, like you can really see that 7900 XT just, it's got the power right there at your fingertips, and you're like, wow, like this feels good. I'm playing games, they feel smooth, they feel incredibly good, and I'm just like, wow, this is insane. The 7900 XT is good. Trust me, like that's a great card too if you've already got it at the price range that they're selling them for, $699 right now. Definitely a no-brainer. Easy recommend for me for anybody that's looking for that GPU to give you that entry level, you know, playable 4K experience. You know, utilizing like upscalers and stuff. Obviously, you still got to kind of use upscalers and stuff with the 7900 XTX as well as the 4080 Super. So none of them are what I would call top tier high-end 4K cards. They're definitely get the job done, but you are going to use a mixture of, you know, high settings, upscalers, some of that stuff, you know, frame generation. Like you're going to have to use, you know, a combination of those, or maybe one of them or something like that to actually be able to play at 4K. But if you're running a 3440 by 1440p monitor like I am, your experience is going to be mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And with enough power to push higher to at least, you know, the 3840 by 1620p, you'll be able to push that, you'll be able to utilize that. And see, once you get on 1440p, you know, like a 3440 by 1440p monitor, your ability to utilize, you know, the virtual super resolutions and stuff to push the resolution higher, and then at the back end go ahead and use like FSR or DLSS or any of those types of features to then, you know, upsample to a higher resolution than that. And then once you downsample to 1440p, you lose zero image quality, period, and you actually gain better textures, better overall image quality and stability by utilizing those features. Now, a lot of people, guys, PC gaming is very nuanced. I've learned so much during my time with, you know, in these last couple of years. I've bought everything from a 7600 XT, 3060, all the way up to, yeah, what I have now, which is pretty much considered high. I mean, top end for AMD and the second best Nvidia GPU you can buy today. And throughout that whole experience, I find it hard to believe that people would be unhappy pretty much anywhere throughout the product stack, especially at like 1440p resolution. I literally believe that every card coming out these days is geared for 1440p. Like they're all basically incredible. You can still run, you know, a 3060 Ti 1440p. You can run all of these cards at 1440p to some extent or better. Some are going to give you better representation, obviously. Some are going to give you the ability to push and superset or downsample back down, while others are barely going to get to 1440p, maybe with a mixture of, you know, medium high settings. The thing is 1440p is where you should probably be focusing your energy towards, as 4K right now, guys, is just a little bit too much. In terms of, you know, being able to fully saturate that pixel density, fully be able to, you know, render out at very high frame rates and stuff. Yes, frame generation and upscaling and all of that definitely helps, but you have to understand you are basically 1440p upscaling to 4K. at best case scenario, you are already at 1440p. You're playing 1440p, and what that tells me is there are no real 4K cards out there that can run everything at 4K. But everything can be ran at 1440p natively with basically all of these cards and everything in between at this point right now. So when you look at that, and that's the way I see it, is, you know, realistically, if you want the best experience you can get and still be able to run some of them, you know, maybe older games or not games that don't require as much power, the ones that give you significant amounts of headroom above and beyond what your monitor can do, you can always utilize the virtual super resolution or the DSC to max it out and then bring it back down to give you, you know, still above and beyond average frame rates. That is going to be more beneficial for you to have better image quality and higher frame rates than it is to just push it onto a freaking 4K screen that's only got 120 hertz. So I mean, you're pretty much leaving performance and visual quality on the table by doing that. And you know, sometimes you can, like, some of these games you really can push to like 6K, even 8K, and then downsample them back down to 4K, and that looks pretty good too. I mean, like, you're definitely talking like your Xbox, you know, your Xbox 360, Xbox One generation games for that level of, you know, performance gain. But the thing is 1440p is very important right now, and being able to fully utilize the full power and bandwidth of the 7900 XTX, that to me is amazing, my friends. I don't feel like I'm, and here's the thing, guys, I don't feel like my 7900 XTX is cut down or in any way, shape, or in any way, shape, or form. Whereas I do feel that a lot more on the Nvidia side with the 4080 Super. Like, that 4080 Super, guys, could be absolutely great. It could be great if it had, you know, just a little bit more. And I always feel like Nvidia cuts corners and then charges too much. See, the 4080 Super, guys, if this card was the price of, like, you know, $800, it would be a no-brainer. Like, the 4080 Super would be like a very, 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 very good card. Like, I would have very little to complain about. But seeing as this card is still $1,000, I paid almost $1,200 for mine after tax. Seeing as it's still above what I got the 7900 XT for, $869 came out to $933. I don't know. Like, I feel like the 4080 Super is way too cut down to compete with the 7900 XTX. The 7900 XTX 384-bit bus, 4080 Super 256-bit bus. I mean, I'm definitely more in like the, okay, maybe the GDDR6X memory and you know, all the other stuff that they say is worth it because it does perform, it does do everything it's supposed to do, but it does absolutely feel cut back. It does, and you can tell that, you can notice that. I know a lot of people love DLSS, and yes, DLSS looks good. It definitely looks great at 4K. I prefer, like I said before, that softer look. It just looks better to me. I like the way FSR, or I do like the way FSR looks in a lot of different scenarios because I play a lot of open world games, so I don't really mind the, you know, the softer look. I actually prefer that. Whereas if you're playing at 4K and you're on a 4080 Super, like, I do get and understand why the Nvidia side appeals to people, because it does exactly what it's supposed to do with Nvidia's DLSS. Is it sharpens the image and upscales it so it looks good. It does look good. I'm not trying to say that it doesn't, but when you look at it from my point of view and you see what the AMD side can do, man, I just feel like there's like the power and the push behind the AMD experience to really provide what you need when it comes to when it comes to gaming. I absolutely love the Adrenaline software. I think it's incredible. I'm glad that Nvidia is working on an app. Yes, I'm going to keep my 4080 Super. Definitely. Why wouldn't I definitely want to be able to go back to that and check it out. And I might actually hang on to my 7900 XT. I love that card. I think it's incredible. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. So, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and we'll discuss it. So, we'll see you guys later.